What is the male gaze? The male gaze is when a woman is visually positioned as an object of heterosexual male desire. Her feelings, her thoughts, and her own sexual drive are less important. You are probably asking yourself why I'm bringing up the theory and relating it to the class. Well, my research topic is focusing on the change of how female characters are being shown in video games and the change within the community. Getting into some background information on gaming as a whole before I dive in, I want to say, as of right now, women characters have greatly improved over the past couple years. Given how the representation of women characters has been poorly done, any type that doesn't have any stereotypical traits is better. I would attribute this to having more female writers behind game development, because it is a fact that men cannot write women. For legal reasons, I have to say this is a joke. There is still misogyny running rampant in video games, even though there is women working on them. With having misogyny in the games, it also causes the community surrounding them to be a horrible place. Just recently, a well-known streamer, IShowSpeed, had some videos dug up from a couple months ago of him berating a woman who was playing on his team. There was no real cause for the sexist rant other than him wanting to talk down to a teammate.
Talking to me? Is a female talking to me? Am I am I tripping? Am I tripping? Wait, time out. It's a female talking to me right now. It's a fucking female talking to me. Get off the fucking game and do your husband dishes, bitch. Shut up. Fuck you. Fuck is wrong with y'all? Stop talking to me like that. Fuck is wrong with y'all, dog? I'm not one of these little lame ass Valorant nerds. Fuck wrong with y'all? Y'all fucking suck.
Spike down mid.
Having someone who streams to over 7 million followers show how he treats people in games, especially women, is extremely harmful. This has become almost a normal for many online games. It's because men have always had the larger demographic for video games, being the bigger ratio of players. According to this chart surveyed by IPSOS, 55% of all video game players recorded in 2021 are men, and 45% being women. Even though the split is almost equal, women have never been greater than men on this scale. It's leading to a type of gatekeeping between men and women. Women are being placed in supportive roles in games to be treated with kindness from other players, or even just being mute. Being mute in the game, however, leads to teammates not liking you for not talking or not responding to them. Men will go out of their way to ruin matches in a game if they notice there's a woman on their team. Women streamers are also horribly treated. Gaming has a level of toxicity built into it, and people seeing a woman play the game they play, they feel the urge to discriminate against them. Streamers have to deal with harassment, sexual predators, and misogynistic people within their streams. The worst part is that I don't think they realize that streaming can be someone's job.
KJ, wanna be my girlfriend?
No, I find you repulsive.
Fuck you, bitch. My friend Connor.
Don't, Carter, don't.
My friend Connor says he likes to read.
Oh my god.
Jumping ship a little, I'm going to now focus more on female characters as a whole, and less the community. If the game contained a female character shown to be capable of engaging in the same missions and equal to the strength of the male character, the female character would still be sexualized, i.e. dressed in provocative clothing, where else the male character was not. I found the research done by Troy Deskin in his thesis, The Effects of Video Games on Sexism Attitudes in Males, made a lot of sense. In my experience, I've never seen any male characters depicted like a woman character in video games. Since characters get sexualized so much, they honestly become recognizable, which is a shame. Some examples could be Melina from Mortal Kombat.
Melina wins. Flawless victory.
Lady Dimitrescu and her daughters.
Oh, be careful what you wish for, Ethan Winters.
And Cammy from Street Fighter. I won't delve into the topic here, but sexualization in fighting games happen a lot more than other games. To get people to play their games, they use the motto that many industries use: sex sells. Going back to the first part of the research question about the evolution of female characters, I want to talk about a character who isn't sexualized and actually is the main part of the story, which a lot of characters aren't. Clem, or Clementine from The Walking Dead, the Telltale series, is a great example of a female character. Being that she is from a zombie-focused game, you would think the sexualization wouldn't be there. Other zombie-heavy games are very well known for having sexualization, i.e. Resident Evil and Lollipop Chainsaw. Clem doesn't have time where she has to act sexual or act like a stereotypical girl who needs a man to save her and falls in love with him. She learns to defend herself with the help of her surrogate father figure, which is very much a trend in the newer types of games. Ellie from The Last of Us is a great example of that. She learns to survive through the entire series pretty much by herself and is never put into a damsel position. Since the game has horror elements, she never actually follows into any horror stereotypes. She's never really helpless or a final girl who needs to beat the odds and survive by herself. She actually becomes a leader of a group of people and takes care of them and has a son named AJ. I would probably have to say that she is the best developed character I can think of.
Yeah, but don't lick it. It's gross.
Did you lick it?
I don't know.
Whatever you do, don't lick it. It tastes horrible.
Wait a minute, how do you know? Did you lick it?
I don't know.
When I was thinking about other characters, I actually did come across a new type of character being made. The character doesn't fit into a stereotype like damsel in distress and have evolved into their own person and own character. A great example of this new character, I would think, is Zelda. I think she's changed for the better because she's being included in the plot and not just the stepping stone for Link. Zelda has become less dependent on her male counterpart, which is great because usually in the earlier games, she was a prize set out for Link for solving the problems of her kingdom. Zelda probably had the earliest start for the change between being a damsel in distress to her own character, starting out in 1998. Ocarina of Time has the Princess Zelda still be a damsel in theory, but flips the narrative with Sheik. Sheik being a mysterious warrior, which we presume is male by their character model, which in actuality is just Zelda's alter ego. This really hit a ripple in Zelda's future as she started to change from here. In Wind Waker, Zelda isn't even a princess from the beginning. We first see her as a pirate captain who is strong-willed and treats her crew like family. I sadly have to say, though, once she reawakes as the princess, she does lose some of the personality she was given. Skyward Sword would have to be the next place that has Zelda give off a different personality and be more adventurous. Definitively, Zelda is the best in Breath of the Wild. Zelda doesn't want to be a leader in it, she actually just wants to be a scholar and learn about the world around her. She doesn't want Link to guard around her even though her father made him do so, and actually gives Link the cold shoulder in the beginning. She's also frustrated with herself because she doesn't have any powers yet, which comes with her family lineage. It does give her the sense that she's inadequate because she wants to save people. The way that she's depicted here really gives a realistic sense to her character. Not that she's just a Mary Sue damsel in distress, and that she just won't get with her knight in shining armor. People can now relate to Zelda, which is a good thing. Before I go back to the research I gathered, I wanted to talk about this little timeline I created, greatly show how women characters should be depicted. I do want to preface and say that I'm not saying that women characters can't be girly, but I do feel like when men write women characters as girly, they don't really know what they're talking about. The first on the timeline is Ellie from The Last of Us, which was created in 2013. Ellie and Clem have a lot of similar vibes to them, but Clem has a little bit of a comic background for her story, and Ellie does not. Next up on the timeline is Aloy from Horizon Dawn that was created in 2017. Aloy actually got a lot of hate online due to looking masculine to many men and not wearing makeup even though they are in a war against machinery and ride on like dinosaurs. I don't want to repeat myself, but next up is Zelda from Breath of the Wild, also made in 2017. And Clem from Telltale's Walking Dead, specifically Season 4, made in 2018. Now that I'm done with the timeline, I did have a question come to mind. Why are female characters treated the way they are? Well, it comes down to the companies who created them. I know I just explained how people who play games can be misogynistic, but it all does come down to the industry itself. Many companies have had allegations coming out about the higher positioned men sexually harassing the women team members, such as Blizzard. Last year, Blizzard had multiple issues, with this resulting in the firing of many directors, such as Jesse McCree. The women in the company held a walkout with a petition of 3,200 signatures from the present and past workers to get the company held accountable. Another extremely misogynistic company director being David Cage. If you don't know who David Cage is, he's the founder of Quantic Dream, which had several court cases based on company practices and statements said by him. There was many complaints filed by ex-employees in 2017, all who claimed that hundreds of photoshopped images of staff members had been circulating around the company, and edited photos of staff reportedly bore sexist, homophobic, and racist overtones, and some of them included Nazi symbolism. The culture within the company had offensive jokes, racism, unhealthy crunch practices, and even sexual misconduct allegations, prompting the studio to file a defamation lawsuit against multiple journalists who talked about it. Even though they are allegations, the owner has been known to say things about his games being like, anyways, in my games, all women are whores. Tying this back into class, you could just say, it's gaming, we talked about gaming, but I feel like it's more about the inclusion of women in a space that men inhabit, and getting them treatment that is equal. Like, why can men only have role models and women just have sexual objects?